I'm Christine Clark-Lafleur. I'm the Chief Executive Officer of Port Cares. Right now we are at Chestnut Place. Chestnut Place is the affordable housing development that Port Cares has created along with its various partners. This is an affordable housing apartment building where people pay rent geared for income, and when I'm talking about people who live here, they're low-income seniors who struggle with the necessities of life, and they're 55 years and older as well. There are families who live here led by single parents, primarily female-led families who have children under the age of 18. This is an important piece of providing housing here in Ontario, and housing that is quality and affordable, so that individuals, our seniors and families with children can grow and thrive. The vision for this project really came to myself and one of my colleagues after a tragic fire that happened here in Port Colborne. A family, a grandmother, a mother, and their two children very tragically and sadly perished in a fire. And this is something that Port Cares had never done before, but coupled with that tragedy was just the ongoing and exponential growth of need at the food bank. So we had been growing our food bank role for the number of low-income people who need assistance. When you cycle back why people use the food bank here in Port Colborne and Wainfleet, one of the big reasons is that they could not afford to pay for food and for rent and utilities at the same time. So, this was really, again, sort of an attempt to put one of the critical pieces in place to disrupt the trajectory of poverty in Port Colborne and Wainfleet. The defining moment for me personally was that Chestnut Place would change lives. Really goes back, I don't know, let's go 64 years. I think in self-reflection, I grew up in a family situation that was not of means. There wasn't much to go around. Babysitting money would be used, to buy gas to get to work for my parents. But there was always food on the table and a roof over our heads. So while we didn't have much, we did have food, and we had a place to live. So it was very, very natural for me to come to the conclusion that one of the things that Port Cares needed to do was to get into the development of affordable housing, because if not for us, then who? It wasn't happening in community. And when we look at what Port Cares does as a wraparound service, affordable housing and the availability of it was one major piece that we did not have. And if no one else was going to do it, then we had to figure out a way to do it.
So from the start, working with Port Cares, the vision was always there. There was a strong vision for what they wanted and who they intended to serve, and it was good from a planning perspective to have a strong vision like that. The real challenge probably came when we started getting into the budgeting and more than nuts and bolts of the planning process. A lot of volatility in the industry at that time in terms of construction cost changes and financing, interest rate changes, just funding sources in general. So trying to piece those aspects of the project together while also moving forward with the vision and the design was tricky. Uh, so primarily, the most advantageous piece of the project is the CMHC Rapid Housing Initiative funding that was funneled through the Niagara region to Port Cares. This was full grant funding, and it allows the project to operate without a mortgage moving forward, and that translates directly into deep affordability for tenants. Besides that, I think just the strong partnership that Port Cares has with the region as the local service manager, through oversight and now through formal property management. The Port Cares staff as well, the way that they're going to operate the building, they have the vision and the knowledge to do it, and creating a really strong and realistic operating budget and operating forecast.
Of points in the journey. We're at a huge point of success with the completion of the construction, but success for me will be in the cycle of life. So those children that have known very little of stability and safety and home, that they come into this building, they're supported, they're wrapped around, we see them, thrive and grow, and maybe they become the first in their family to go on to a career, either post-secondary education, whether that be college, university, or apprenticeship, but they become a new reality for them, that they can have the autonomy and the means to support themselves and have a better life than their parents and their grandparents. For me, that success is that through housing and supports, we change lives.
So that's something that I think we shared a similar vision with our architect on the functionality and the comforting, welcoming spaces for tenants. Indoor environmental quality, natural daylighting, higher ceiling spaces, open concept. They all provide just a really welcoming and functional atmosphere for clients.
What's the one
I think the better something is built, the quality of what you're providing for clients, it provides a real sense of self-worth, especially for people that may be moving from housing situations that are not ideal from a physical standpoint. So I do think you provide safe, welcoming, functional space, and it provides a self-worth to clients, and they like to maintain their spaces and keep a high level or a high standard.
To the goal when the need is so great, and the people who are depending on organizations like Port Cares are so vulnerable, you just find a way to meet the goal. And certainly we've been very fortunate to have been able to do this in such a short period of time and meet the goals we set. My one message to the community partners and the donors who made this possible is thank you. Thank you with grace. Thank you with authenticity. Thank you for believing in this project and sharing, and believing in Port Cares, believing in our team, because it's truly been a collaborative effort that brings us here today, that we are opening and occupying this building. This has been nothing short of so many different groups coming together on so many different parts of the project to make it happen, and for them to know that they are creating a legacy that will influence positive things for lives, again, today, tomorrow, next week, and for years to come.